Greetings, everyone. I am F. Keith Slaughter, Senior Servant of the Beloved Community Church of Atlanta. Our ministry began 5 years ago with a few dedicated souls who were dedicated to serving our people and worshiping our God. We are a small church. However, since we began, we have slowly grown from a mere idea into a thriving, busy, and dynamic presence in the Pittsburgh community of Atlanta, Georgia. The coronavirus pandemic indelibly altered the work of our ministry. The food and resources gap between the poor and others has widened right before our eyes. As the world around us changed, we recognized the need to expand our already established food pantry to include a food sharing component for children and adults in our community. We now serve hot meals, sandwiches, snacks, and beverages 3 days a week and provide emergency food pantry access throughout the week. The times required that we expand our capacity to serve, but we had inadequate facilities needed to do the work. To that end, we recently acquired a historic Pittsburgh landmark formerly known as Little Zion Baptist Church. Our plan is to transition our food pantry and resource brokerage center, including a new day shelter component, into the Little Zion Annex of the Beloved Community Church. We need room to grow, and I need your help to make it happen. The food pantry will give community members and their families access to nutritious food in a clean and healthy environment. The Resource Brokerage Center will connect persons to information and benefits available to them, while the day shelter will create space for showers and personal care, cell phone recharging stations, and other help for our unsheltered sisters and brothers. So here's the ask. I'm asking you to be mindful and prayerful around your possible role in helping us to take care of some good people who need to feel the experience of human love, care, and compassion in the midst of their struggle. After considering the possibilities, I ask that you would share your best gift with us to help us renovate the building, put on a new roof, replace the damaged flooring, and rebuild the handicap ramp to make it a bright, healthy, secure space for healing and restoration to occur. I believe that this is good ground. Won't you help us by investing in making Dr. King's vision of the beloved community a blessed reality? You can help us by cash apping us at $the beloved community. You may also go to my website, Dr.FKeithSlaughter.org, and make a PayPal donation. But however you give, make sure you give to this good and worthy cause.
Y'all know what it is.
I can't sit to see the scornful. Run away, run away, run away. Those wolves of sheep clothing.
Come on.
Run away. Take back what you stole from me. Compensate. They keep lying, man, and I can't relate. Run away, run away, run away.
Mr. Slaughter D called me trap pastor. I talk slow, but you know I rap faster.
That right.
Hard rhymes, I'm as serious as cancer. Recognize you ain't a slave, you a master. Came here on the bottom of the boat.
That right.
Can't flow, so I had to backstroke. Coming up on the verses that I wrote. Every day I slang hope, not dough. Black excellence, down with the team. Malcolm X's nightmare, Martin Luther's dream. Fight the power, can you feel what I mean? Like Rod Kim said, I'm a microphone fiend. Came south on a special invitation. To say a word on the current situation. No delay, no more hesitation. All you fist up, take your preparation. Sucker.
Y'all know what it is.
I can't sit the seat of the scornful. Run away, run away, run away. Those wolves in sheep clothing.
Come on.
Run away. Take back what you stole from me. Compensate. They keep lying, man, and I can't relate. Run away, run away, run away.
Yeah, so you think you can run away from reality? You think you can run away from the problems? You think you can find yourself someplace else to go where there's no God? Hey man, wherever you go, God is already there waiting on you. So stop running. And if you gotta run, tie your shoes. Sucker. What's good? Thank you. That is appropriate. I deserve that. It's like cash. Thank you, thank you, thank you very much. I appreciate that, brother. All right, now see, that's what I'm talking about right there. That's what getting me up and rolling in the morning time. And when I be hitting so hard that I get feedback too, you know what I'm saying? That lets you know I'm hitting hard like a hammer. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time of the day it is that you're checking out this intentionally Afrocentric live streaming infotainment variety talk experience. I'm glad that you're here for the situation. Today is January the 25th. The year is 2022. We are in the midst of a pandemic, but somehow you are still alive. That's a good reason to recognize and honor the Creator who still got us here. Glad to see y'all. Namaste and peace and power and love, respect. That's what I offer you today. I'm still feeding back just a little bit, but it's, it's like I'm in the bottom of some kind of tank, empty swimming pool. I don't know. Anyway, what's good, Megally? Is it coming together, baby boy? All right, then. Man in the box. Is everything okay?
Yeah, that's right.
See what I'm saying? That's what make it beautiful, man. So, I want to share a little piece with you from this text today. W.E.B. Du Bois's The Souls of White Folk. Yes, you are familiar, I'm sure, with Du Bois's The Souls of Black Folk, but The Souls of White Folk is also a piece that he wrote and in the form of an essay. And it's very interesting, and I wanted to share some of it with you. Now I can speak. High in the tower where I sit above the loud complaining of the human sea, I know how many souls that toss and whirl and pass, but none there are that intrigue me more than the souls of white folk. Of them I am singularly clairvoyant. I see in and through them. I view them from the unusual points of vantage. Not as a foreigner do I come, for I am native, not foreign, bone of their thought and flesh of their language. Mine is not the knowledge of the traveler or the colonial composite of dear memories, words, and wonder. Nor yet is my knowledge that which servants have of masters, or mass of class, or capitalist of artisan. Rather, I see these souls undressed and from the back and side. I see the working of their entrails. I know their thoughts, and they know that I know. This knowledge makes them now embarrassed, now furious. They deny my right to live and be, and call me misbirth. My word is to them mere bitterness, and my soul pessimism. And yet as they preach and strut and shout and threaten, crouching as they clutch at rags of facts and fancies to hide their nakedness, they go twisting, flying by my tired eyes, and I see them ever stripped, ugly, human. The discovery of personal whiteness among the world's peoples is a very modern thing, a 19th and 20th century matter indeed. The ancient world would have laughed at such a distinction. The Middle Age regarded skin color with mild curiosity, and even up into the 18th century, we were hammering out our national mannequins into one great universal man with fine frenzy which ignored color and race even more than birth. Today, we have changed all that. And the world, in a sudden emotional conversion, has discovered that it is white, and by that token, wonderful. This assumption that all of the hues of God, whiteness alone, is inherently and obviously better than brownness or tan, leads to curious acts. Even the sweeter souls of the dominant world, as they discourse with me on whether weal and woe, are continually playing above their actual words, an obligato of tune and tone, saying, "My poor unwhite thing, weep not nor rage. I know too well that the curse of God lies heavy on you." Why? That is not for me to say, but be brave. Do your work in your lowly sphere, praying the good Lord that into heaven above, where all is love, you may one day be born white. I do not laugh. I am quite straight-faced as I ask soberly, but what on earth is whiteness that one should so desire it? Then always, somehow, some way, silently, but clearly, I am given to understand that whiteness is the ownership of the earth forever and ever. Amen. Now, what is the effect on a man or a nation when it comes passionately to believe such an extraordinary dictum as this? That's a piece from the souls of white folk. And now you know why W.E.B. Du Bois was so controversial, why his words that were written throughout the 20th century had such an impact on people, as he challenged the idea of white supremacy. As a sociologist, he challenged that idea and found it to be faulty, indefensible, strange, and in a word, false. And so we continue in this day, even to this present moment, saying what Du Bois has said, fighting from that perspective and that position so that we could heal the land and heal the psyches of the souls of black folk. That's the situation, and you want to know what the deal is. Da-da-da-da. Yeah, boom. Man. All right. I'm going to share with you stories now from around the world. I want to begin, as I did on yesterday, however, with a story from Russia and Ukraine. The Wall Street Journal is reporting that although the nation has become used to instability, people there say something feels different this time in the Ukraine. People are preparing themselves. Ukraine has struggled to maintain a sense of stability since it fully established itself as a sovereign country in 1991 and has been at war actually since 2014. But with 100,000 Russian troops gathered nearby, threatening Europe's biggest land wars since the 1940s, people there say that it feels different this time. Meanwhile, the U.S. has put on alert 8,500 troops to make ready to head into Eastern Europe. And I don't know what 8,500 troops going to do against 100,000 Russians, but it's going to be interesting to see what the NATO alliance headed by the U.S. will do as warfare appears to be imminent in the Ukraine. Guess we'll see. All right. From the African continent. Oh, just to update on the story that I shared with you yesterday about warfare being imminent in Burkina Faso. Well, on yesterday, after we reported our report to you, another report has been released that shares that the president of Burkina Faso has been overthrown and the military is now in control of the country. So if you got people in Burkina Faso, holler at them, check and see if they are right. Very unstable in that country now. Also, Al Jazeera is reporting that Malawi's president, Lazarus Chakwera, has dissolved that country's entire cabinet amid charges of corruption against several ministers. And he announced this in an address to the nation on yesterday. President Chakwera said that he had decided to allow the 3 ministers and other public officers accused of corruption to face their charges. He also added that the cabinet will exclude the Minister of Lands, Kessi Msukwa, who was arrested last month in a bribery case. And so the whole cabinet now has been cleared out in Malawi. Malawi is one of the world's poorest countries, with nearly 3/4 of its population living on less than $2 a day. It's tough. New news coming out of Ethiopia. Of course, we know that warfare is going on between the Tigray rebels and the army of Ethiopia. Well, this continues to get more and more messy and crazy. A new World Health Organization official who cut off Ethiopia's envoy on Monday as he attempted to deliver a speech criticizing the global body's leader and postponed a decision on a request from Addis Ababa to investigate his actions. This came at the WHO's week-long executive board meeting, which is set to discuss a bid by current director Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus from Ethiopia's Tigray region for a second term as the head of the UN Health Agency. Again, what I've been sharing with you is that the conflict that's happening in Ethiopia is made more complicated by the fact that the person who was in charge of the World Health Organization, which is deeply involved in this conflict, is also a person who is from the Tigray region. And so there's a way in which the World Health Organization, a UN-backed organization, is actually engaged in warfare against the country of Ethiopia. And they're saying that that's a problem, and it is.
Stop it.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a problem, and they have a right to protest that, but it appears that the powers that be from the UN are not allowing this argument to get any traction in the UN. At any rate, that's what's cracking there. Sad news out of Cameroon. At least 6 people died after being crushed at a soccer game. That's
what the hell?
Yeah, it's crazy. It's hurtful. Oh, but it's true, you know. But please be clear. For every story that I've shared with you, there's a parallel happening in the U.S. I mean, I ain't got to remind you of the people who died at the concert a couple of months ago. So things like that happen. When people are being entertained. Whew. So closer to home, Eric Singerman of NPR is reporting that the Supreme Court said on yesterday that it will revisit the question of affirmative action in higher education. Y'all, this is important. They're deciding to hear cases challenging the use of race as one factor in admissions at Harvard University and the University of North Carolina. With the court already having heard arguments this term on abortion and guns, the affirmative action cases mark yet another politically charged issue that threatens to uproot decades of legal doctrine. Arguments in the 2 cases will likely be heard in the court's new term, which begins in October. See, let me share with you why this is particularly important and why you perhaps will see laws being changed and overturned by the Supreme Court. See, since 1978, the Supreme Court has upheld the constitutionality of affirmative action programs 3 different times. In each, the court's controlling opinion was authored by a traditionally conservative justice. But all of those justices have retired or died, and 3 of the justices who voted against affirmative action, Uncle Clarence Thomas, John Roberts, and Samuel Alito, they are still on the court. And more conservative judges have been added to the court by the previous administration, the Trump administration. So what you see now is the perfect setup for affirmative action to be overturned. And more than likely it will. With a Democratic president that you put in office, with a majority House of Representatives that's Democratic, and with a tie in the Senate, with the deciding vote going to the vice president, who is also a Democrat, with a total trifecta, a triad of control. The Democrats, who black people put in office, are now about to experience the Supreme Court undercutting all of that and outlawing affirmative action. Watch and see. Watch and see how that goes down. All right? All right. Okay. I don't know who that is. I didn't get to read that good, so I can't talk about that. This is crazy. Noah McGee of The Root is reporting that there is a debate, or rather the debate, over critical race theory has continued to affect how students learn across the country, how they learn about the history of the United States, and the controversy has played out once again in the state of Florida. A Florida school district canceled, listen to what I am about to say to you. In Florida, a Florida school district canceled a college professor's civil rights lecture for teachers, saying that they had concerns over critical race theory. They had concerns. They canceled a college professor's lecture? What the fuck? This is unheard of. And the seminar where he was lecturing had nothing to do with critical race theory. But because they were concerned that something might be said that would not be totally affirming of the mythical purity of white people, they shut it down. J. Michael Butler, a history professor at Flagler College in St. Augustine, Florida, is the person, and he was preparing to deliver a seminar called The Long Civil Rights Movement to teachers at the Osceola Country School District. That would probably be county. And it was going to explain how the civil rights movement came before and after MLK. And the day before, Ron DeSantis pushed a bill prohibiting schools and private businesses from making white people feel discomfort, quote unquote, when teaching about race and racism. So in Florida, it's against the law to tell the truth. That's where we at, y'all. That's the world we living in, sisters and brothers. Closer to home. Okay. This is a story that's out of Atlanta, but it has national implications indeed. Channel 2 Action News has confirmed that the Fulton County District Attorney has been given the go-ahead to organize a special grand jury in the investigation of President Donald Trump. The panel would investigate if the former president broke the law when he pressured Georgia's Secretary of State to find him enough votes to overturn the election results in the state of Georgia. Okay, so Fonnie, our dear friend, Fonnie Willis, has the go-ahead to do the investigation. But now we got to see if she got the courage to carry it through and to get the verdict that we all know ought be secured. It's one thing to charge, is another thing to get justice. It's going to be real interesting. All eyes in the country will be on Atlanta and on Atlanta's district attorney's office. I wish our sister well on that. I mean, everybody heard the tape. We know what happened. Rathensberg what's his name? Y'all knew what I'm talking about, the Secretary of State. He released the tape, Raffensperger. He released the tape, so we know what was said. We know what Donald Trump said to him. We already know that that's against the law. But let's just see
if you can get a conviction on it. And that's the real thing. I don't want to talk about this, but man, a 6-month-old child was shot and killed Monday in an Anderson Park area over there by Dixie Hill. And Atlanta Mayor Andre Pickens and the police chief Rodney Bryant had a press conference to give an update. The baby died after being shot, and that is tragic, absolutely tragic. Finally, the Atlanta Journal-Constitution's Carrie Teagarden and Brad Schrade are reporting that the Georgia's General Assembly resoundingly agreed in 2017 that having more people on probation than any other state wasn't making Georgia safer. In fact, lawmakers found the opposite was true. The large numbers spread oversight too thin. So the legislature has passed a law to cut the numbers and focus oversight on those considered the most dangerous. I'm struggling to really know what this means and how this will impact people who are caught up in the criminal injustice system. Let's be clear. People who commit violent crime ought to be in jail. But people who don't commit violent crime shouldn't be imprisoned, in my view, at the same rate that people who commit violent crime are. And so we'll see. Since June 2018, Georgia felons under state supervision have been linked to more than 3,500 cases of violent crime. The cases include roughly 680 homicides, 670 sexual criminal acts, 285 robberies, and 1,870 other serious violent felonies. So, me and you, we all know that crime is rampant, not just in Atlanta and in Georgia and in the Southeast and in this country, but crime is going on because whenever you push people into spaces where they feel like they are trapped, people conduct themselves in ways that are deleterious to society. And that's what we're experiencing. And that's life. That's the deal for today. Hopefully you are encouraged after the news. Man, that warfare is imminent. That world war is right around the corner. And I didn't even read one story about coronavirus today. And it's still out there as well. So what do? We keep on getting up, man. We keep on pushing. And just like our ancestors before us, we will figure out a way to make it through with the help of the Creator, with the help of the Most High. At least that's what I believe. So when we come back, I got special guests in the studio who will be coming to the stage to grace the Black Supremacy Chair. So I want you to stay tuned. And more than that, I want you to get at your people and let your people know that we're trafficking in truth-telling round through here. This is the dopest show that you never heard of. But if you let your people know, then more people will know. Can you feel that? Go to trappastor.com. Once you get there, scroll to the bottom of the page and choose a platform, whether it be Facebook Live, Instagram Live, Twitch, or YouTube. And if you're on YouTube, make sure you like us, make sure you're subscribed, and make sure that you shoot us some comments and some love. You feel me? Yeah. And we be around here doing this thing that we do just like we're supposed to do it. I'm Slaughter, man. I'm the machine, man. And I'm talking about big get it. And I'll be black when I get back with more of this thing called a situation. Yeah, yeah, what he said. Exactly. Keep bumping, man. Because we're open.
We're open.
Yes, we're open.
We are open, and Sandtown Pub is ready to serve you. We're taking precautions, wearing masks, wearing gloves, sanitizing, and practicing social distancing. We've even partnered with local leaders to hand out free masks. So stop by and enjoy our outdoor patio, dine in, call ahead for pickup, get Uber Eats and DoorDash delivery, or order online at www.sandtownpub.com.
Peace family, it's your girl Shelly Set with Sun Goddess Scents, your one-stop natural shop. We are located at 4140 Jonesboro Road, booth 225 inside the Forest Park International Discount Mall in Forest Park, Georgia. Come check us out. You can get your health and beauty items, aromatherapy, skincare, Pan-African apparel, and more. You can reach us at 404-434-7963 or sungoddess_scents on IG or sungoddess.scents on IG or Sun Goddess Scents like page on Facebook. Peace.
Hi, I'm Broderick Gooch.
And I'm Tian Gooch.
And we're Gooch's Goodies.
Here at Gooch's Goodies, we specialize in delivering smiles and satisfaction to your home with our high-quality foods at affordable prices.
Our signature sauces and dishes will guarantee a flavor that your family will love, and that's a Gooch's Goodies guarantee. You can follow us on Facebook,
DoorDash,
and Grubhub. See you soon.
Okay? We ain't really back. What's good, y'all? Welcome back to the show. Yeah, thank you. I need that. Get that up. Get that up. All right. Beneath me, the sounds of Somalia. Somalia Ramin, who is a friend of the show. That's my baby sister. And she performs around the city. So whenever you get an opportunity to check Somalia out, check out. Also, you can get her stuff, man. You can download her music, videos, YouTube and Apple Music and all that. So support her. I had on a sweatshirt yesterday. I had on Somalia sweatshirt yesterday. We didn't play no Somalia yesterday, though. Anyway, my guests, my first guests today are the parents of a young man who was murdered. I'm going to allow his mom and his dad to explain to you what their experience has been as the parents of a man who was slain by the name of Andrew Smyrna. Ladies and gentlemen, sisters and brothers, please join me in welcoming the parents of Andrew Smyrna. Good morning, y'all. Good, how y'all doing?
Good morning, Dr. Slaughter. How are you?
I'm well.
Thank you for having us on your show.
Thank you.
Morning.
Thank you for agreeing to come. Let me put this picture up so folks can see.
Yes.
Okay. This is your son. His name is Andrew Smyrna. I read the account, or the at least I visited the website where you put a little bit of information out, but I wanted to leave it wide open so that you could share with my audience and with me what occurred with your son and how is it that you come to sit in this chair right here and right now.
Well, my son's name is Andrew Jr. Smyrna.
Mm-hmm.
He was 32 years old. He was driving a rental car with a friend, another passenger, and was noticing on the highway that he was being followed by an unmarked car.
Mm-hmm.
And he's driving, he don't know who's following him. So he exited off the highway onto Moreland Avenue, turned on to Leslie Street, and parked his car there.
Mm-hmm.
While sitting there, he noticed that there was a cop standing at the head of the street.
Mm-hmm.
The cop never approached the car, never approached him. So he decided to back out. And the street is a very small street, so he had to go into a driveway and back up his car to turn left, to go in the other direction.
Mm-hmm.
And unannounced to him, there was a state trooper coming around the corner and sees no sirens, no warning, sees my son backing up, trying to position the car to make the turn, and he rolls up on him, jumps out of his vehicle, leaves his vehicle in drive, and starts shooting through the passenger side of the vehicle. He shot 9 bullets into the car. Of course, nobody knew at that time what was going on. Why did this happen?
Mm-hmm.
All I was at work, and I got the news that my son was shot from my grandson. And I left work, and we went to the hospital, but my son's body wasn't there. They told us that our son died in the ambulance, and they didn't know where his body was taken to. So we had to go home and sit there. No one, the police, no one called us. And about maybe 7 or 8 o'clock that night, because this happened at about 12 o'clock that day, during the day, we got a call from the DeKalb County Coroner's Office telling us that they have our son. And I was like, well, could we come there? How you know it's my son? They told me, no, you can't come here. This is not, an open place. It's private. We want you to go and make funeral arrangements for your son. And when, you make those funeral arrangements, you can have the funeral home come pick him up, and you can go over there and identify his body. So this happened on January 23rd of 2020. It was a Thursday. The body wasn't picked up until the Monday. And that's when I went to the funeral home and identified my son's body there. It was my son. After, the news put out their false narrative, which they always do because they get the narrative from the people of themselves who committed the crime. They don't get it from the witnesses or the family. They listen to
They listen to the criminals, the police.
Yes, the police.
Yes.
And they were putting out, the first day they put on the news, they had my son as a John Doe because my son didn't have any ID or anything on him for them to ID him. But the next day they got his name and they put it out in the news that he was driving a stolen car. And this was the reason why he lost his life, because he was trying to run over a police officer. This was not a chase or anything. So when they started putting that narrative out there, in my head I'm thinking, my son would never steal nobody's car because he never stole a car in his life like that. So come to find out, this car was rented by Hertz. And if anybody is aware lately that Hertz have a big lawsuit pending against them for renting their cars and reporting them stolen.
Yes.
And a lot of people got locked up and, lost their jobs and their livelihood.
That is true.
Over this situation. So this car was rented on the 18th of January. The contract said the car was supposed to return on the 31st of January. So I wasn't aware of the situation with Hertz. So they declared that this car was rented and it wasn't paid for, I guess, and they declared it stolen. So this guy who was actually following my son, he worked for Hertz Insurance. So he was the one who was following my son on the highway, and he was telling the police where this car was going.
We know that from the DA.
That's what we found out when we went to the DA's office. The DA, when my son died, they said he died in DeKalb County, on the DeKalb County line. And so they give the case to the DeKalb County District Attorney, Sherry Boston. Sherry Boston convinced me to give her time to look at my son's evidence. I was in May because COVID had hit.
Right.
And she did a Zoom meeting with me and my family and asked us, can we give her some time to go through the evidence? We agreed, okay, we'll give her the time. She took 11 months to call us in to make a decision. When we all went in to meet with her, she presented just a little bit of the evidence. She told us that the officer, the state trooper, Brandon Bird, who murdered my son, did not have a body cam. All they had was dashboard and just a little bit because it was shaky.
Because he said he didn't stop the the vehicle. He got out while
Yes,
the
he
vehicle
got out
was
the vehicle, and the
while it
vehicle
was
was still running.
It didn't put it in
Yes.
park.
So she told us, she showed us the clip of the officer standing outside of the passenger window with his firearm firing into the car. And we asked her, why is the clip choppy? You know, it wasn't running, you know, concurrently, it was choppy. And she said, well, we had to do it like this because we don't have a big TV screen.
No, they edited it.
Yeah.
So you wouldn't, and so we would know what the police actions actually were.
Actually were.
Right.
Because the police said he feared for his life, and that is why he shot my son, because he feared my son was going to take the car, run him over. He was going to be pinned and dead. Now, if you're fearing for your life, you should be in front of this car. You shouldn't be standing on the side of this car shooting to a passenger side of the car.
Right. So all of this information that you just shared came to you via the investigation that was done by the district attorney. Yes. And so what, after all of this information was shared with you, what was the DA's decision as it relates to indictment?
The DA decision was we started asking some questions about the position of the bullet, you know, position of the officer. They couldn't give us any response, but she got up after we started asking questions and said, I've already made my decision on this case. My decision is not to charge this case due to police policy and procedure. We asked her to explain the policy and procedure. What does that mean?
Yeah.
And she didn't explain it. She didn't break it down. I burst into tears and I asked her, can she give the case to the grand jury and let a grand jury decide the case? She said no, because she don't think the grand jury is going to come back with an indictment. Now, that's based on your opinion. And then she said, I lost sleepless nights. These were her words. I lost sleepless nights looking at this case. Did I see something wrong? Yes. Do I know something need to be changed? Yes. But I'm not charging this case because of policy and procedure. She didn't break it down at the time.
Stop it.
So we left. We all walked out the building, of course, angry. And we left, and my attorney was not there with me sitting there. He was on the Zoom. He said he had COVID. So he was on a Zoom. So I met up with my attorney afterwards to find out what this policy and procedure means. I also went up and read the police policy and procedure. And then I realized the police policy and procedure says that if the police officer feels that his life is in imminent danger, he can, I guess, use any means. To me, it means
Deadly
any means
force.
necessary, right? And then when I asked my attorney said she is saying that Andrew was using his car as a weapon towards him. And that's one of the reasons why she took that and ran with that. We went ahead, buried my son, of course, did everything we had to do. We met with an attorney. The attorney is a civil attorney. So the case is based on a civil suit right now, not a criminal suit, because the DA didn't charge the officer. Right. The officer is still working. They took him. They might have given him a week off, but they put him in the Capitol building first. I went to an organization called Justice for Georgia, and they're usually campaigning out there at the governor's, the Capitol building,
Protesting.
sorry, protesting.
Yes.
And they saw him there. And they called him out. And they said, this is Trooper Bird who killed Andrew Smyrna, and he's working in here. So they got him moved from there, and they took him to the governor's mansion to work there. So I found out he was working there, and I did a protest last Saturday outside of the governor's mansion to let him know that this weekend was the anniversary of my son's death, that he has a murderer working in that building, and that building belongs to us, the taxpayers.
Did you get any kind of response from your protest, and were there people who joined you in it?
There were Jimmy Hutchinson's father.
Yeah, we love him.
In there with me.
Yes.
There were some other mothers that lost their children through police brutality as well. And then there were family support.
Wonderful.
Yes,
I'm glad you have
support.
I'm glad you have support. I'm so sorry. I mean, I'm sure you noticed my silence.
Yes.
Because I hear about these kinds of experiences that people have as the powers that be operate unjustly and treat the lives of our people as if we are not valuable and valued by others. And it saddens me to a deep place. Talk about Andrew. What was he like?
Andrew was the fifth child. He was the baby of my children. And he was, when I say baby, because my oldest son and Andrew are 11 years apart. Andrew was born in Brooklyn, New York. And I moved from New York to Georgia in the year of 2000, when Andrew was just in his last grade of middle school. So he attended high school here in the state of Georgia. Andrew was a very quiet child, didn't talk much, smiled a lot, but didn't have a lot of, conversation going on. He was really spoiled because he had older siblings. By the time he was born, all of his siblings were way older than him.
Right.
So everybody gave him love. So all he knew was love. He received love. He gave love, gave me a lot of love. He taught me how to, be affectionate. And we would often have our own little conversations, because of course not every child's perfect. So, but I always believe that if my children do something wrong, we can talk about it, and I could tell them, correct them, show them the right way. Andrew never wanted to work for anybody, so he developed his own business skills that he wanted to. He would promote parties. He loved being dressed up in the fashion. He loved the fashion. He loved people, and he always wanted to be out in the crowd, And but very respectable. He carried himself very decent. My son didn't have a tattoo on his body. He never wore. I'd always tell him, put a belt on your waist. Even if you want to pull it down to your hip, make sure you got a belt on there. Carry yourself decent. He's a father of two children, one age 7 and one age 3. His age 3-year-old son was about a year when he got killed. He was a doting father, loved his children, did whatever he can do for them, was never married. He the last business venture when he died, that Monday, he was going to open an Airbnb. And that Thursday morning, his dad was waiting at home for him to come because the dad was going to turn the water on at the house that he was going to rent. That was the last business venture that he was preparing to do.
Mr. Smyrna, can you share your feelings as relates to the loss of your son, your namesake?
Well, he's my one and only son. I have 2 children, a sister and him. Me and my son, we do a lot of things together. Every time something, he called me, and I try to facilitate him. He's a very kind boy, very kind. And when that officer took his life, up to now I can't understand it. I really can't. Because there's no way that he was going to drive the car on that officer. The officer didn't ask him to get out of the car. Then he point a gun. He didn't have a weapon on him. He didn't have nothing. And he was gunned down like a dog. That's how I see it.
I'm just sorry, and I join you in your grief, and I join you and I mourn the loss of your son as you commemorate 2 years of his passing. How can people be helpful to you as you continue to seek justice for Andrew?
I believe telling my son's story is important for people to, support me in that sense, because the narrative that is put out by the police, the district attorneys, and all who were involved, it's always a false narrative.
Yes.
Because what they try to do with our young black men is to discredit them as much as they can, just to make the public believe that these men are being killed because they're bad. They're not doing good things. And then people who don't know your children would run with that story. But if they hear it from you personally, they will understand that they come from good homes. These children come from good homes.
Yeah, people are good people. I mean, it is. Of course, there are people who do bad things, and we know that these people exist. But overwhelmingly, the evidence show that police, particularly white police, kill black people, kill young black men because they can. Because they can.
But
because they, I can only let me just say this. I have 2 sons, right? One just turned 24 yesterday. Got the same kind of spirit I feel that your son had, entrepreneurial spirit, majoring in business, wanting to, do his own thing. And every time he's away from me, every time, if I don't hear from him in a day, I become afraid and shaken. And so because I anticipate the evil that is out there in uniform coming against him and coming against other children, other young men. And I don't know what to say to anyone, to him or to anybody, to protect them. Last night they was headed to Buckhead, to a bar to celebrate his birthday, 24. And I literally begged them, y'all don't go up there.
Yeah.
Why you want to go up there? Don't go up there. But the thing about it is, your son was on Moreland. right? He wasn't even up there. So it means there's no place that you can hide from these folks. If you come outside of your house, and sometimes you don't even have to come out of your house. They'll come to your house and come to the wrong house and kill you. I mean, it's, and we got to figure out a way. There has to be a way to stem the tide of this just senseless violence that is perpetrated by people who are supposed to protect us. I join you in mourning, and I grieve with you the loss of Andrew J. Smyrna. And I want you to know that you can use this outlet and this platform to tell your story, to get other people informed about what is happening, and what we can do to be helpful with you going forward. It appears that you have already joined in a coalition of other parents who have lost their children from the Atlanta metro area. So just keep us informed and let us know what we can do as we continue the fight for justice.
Well, I just want to say something on, during the fight for justice for my son, I've been reading a lot about, police brutality across the United States.
Mm-hmm.
But one of the things that I've noticed in the South is that the district attorneys are not charging the officers.
Mm-hmm.
Because when I go through my son's evidence, I see this officer as using deadly force and excessive force.
Mm-hmm. Unjustifiably, yes.
Unjustifiably.
Mm-hmm.
And if anything, my son should have been in jail, not dead, because you would have had to have a warrant to arrest my son if you say he was driving a stolen car. You didn't even have that. You didn't even have a warrant, much less to say that you had the right to kill him.
Yep.
And the district attorneys are the ones who are responsible to go look at these evidence and charge these officers. And they're not doing it.
They're not doing that.
And then when you try to reach out, because I wrote letters to the governor, I wrote letters to the CEO of DeKalb County, I wrote letter to the president, I wrote letter to the United States Attorney General, I wrote a letter to Georgia Attorney General Christopher Carr, and no one wants to sit down and talk about my son or anybody else's son and listen to our stories and come up with solutions.
Yeah.
Because even if...
Well, they know what the solutions are. We need police reform.
Yes.
We need it so that when police kill black people, that they must be accountable.
Yes.
And that they pay a price that's hard, and that the punitive nature of what happens to them has to become a deterrent for them. Just like they use punishment as a deterrent for crime,
yes,
punishment ought to be a deterrent for crime that is carried out and perpetrated by police as well.
And that's what I agree with you, sir.
Yeah.
I wholeheartedly agree with you. That's what I'm fighting for. Not only my child, but I'm fighting for everybody else's child, because I believe that this injustice has to be looked at, and we must get justice for our children when they're wrongfully killed.
No doubt about it. I thank y'all for coming on and sharing.
Thank you so much for having us.
I know that had to be difficult, but I thank you for coming. And I am praying for you and your family.
I appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
The police officer, it was a black police officer.
Yes.
It wasn't a white police officer.
Damn.
Yep.
It's a situation.
Yes.
We'll be black.
I just wanted to know that, sir.
Yeah, I wanted to let you all know that, because, when a white police officer kills a black man, it's all over the news. It's everywhere.
Yeah.
But with my son's case, it's a black state trooper that killed my son. And nobody's paying attention to it. Even when I called Attorney Crump's office, the first thing they ask you is it a white officer?
Yeah.
You say it's a black officer, they can't take your case.
Yeah. 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 It's terrible. Whew. We'll be back when we get back, man, with more of the show. So y'all stay tuned, man. Thank you to the Smyrna family for coming in and sharing. Justice for Andrew.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having us.
Yes, Lord. All right, we'll be back in a minute.
We're open. Yes, we're open.
We are open, and Sandtown Pub is ready to serve you. We're taking precautions, wearing masks, wearing gloves, sanitizing, and practicing social distancing. We've even partnered with local leaders to hand out free masks. So stop by and enjoy our outdoor patio, dine in, call ahead for pickup, get Uber Eats and DoorDash delivery, or order online at www.sandtownpub.com.
Peace, family. It's your girl, Shelly Set with Sun Goddess Sense, your one-stop natural shop. We are located at 4140 Jonesboro Road, booth 225, inside the Forest Park International Discount Mall in Forest Park, Georgia. Come check us out. You can get your health and beauty items, aromatherapy, skincare, Pan-African apparel, and more. You can reach us at 404-434-7963 or sungoddess_sense on IG or sungoddess.sense on IG or Sun Goddess Sense like page on Facebook. Peace.
Hi, I'm Broderick Gooch.
And I'm Tian Gooch.
And we're Gooch's Goodies.
Here at Gooch's Goodies, we specialize in delivering smiles and satisfaction to your home with our high-quality foods at affordable prices.
Our signature sauces and dishes will guarantee a flavor that your family will love, and that's a Gooch's Goodies guarantee. You can follow us on Facebook,
DoorDash,
and Grubhub. See you soon.
loving on you, girl. Then I get to thinking, I should've never let you. And it's been way past days, past time that I've gotten over you, girl. Cause I know you over me and we've had our forevers, but there's no more you and me. Look what you do to me, girl. Got me all in my feelings, stuck in my pain, smoking on more than I can handle. Too numb the pain, yeah. What to do when no one wants to compromise? If we don't talk about it, then how are we supposed to work it out or make it work? If anything, I swear I just wanna love you still. I just wanna love you still. I just wanna wake up next to you. I just wanna tell you that I love you and that you freaking beautiful. And I guess I still ain't over you. Smoking on my pain, looking at these pics, stuck in my feelings, wondering who's loving on you, who's loving on you. Then I get to thinking, plenty of fish out there in the sea, and I should've never let you in anyway, but I'm oh so glad that I did. And it's been past days that I've gotten over you. Been past time for me to get over you. It's been past days I've gotten over you. Cause I know you over me, girl. I know you over me. Skills you'll fall for this one, man, but I'm loving it. I mean, bad call. Sipping on a drink called life. Would you like for me to pour you a cup? Oh, people are dying, mothers are crying. The children are lost like sheep in a manger. Where's the shepherd? They waiting on the Savior. And nobody's gonna save us. No one's gonna fight alone. Said we must stand together. Times have changed, still we fight for the same freedom. The same dream Dr. King had, and still we're trying to progress on. Where we going? Just look where we came from. What do we learn, or is it all just for nothing? Life's such a beautiful blessing. Life's such a beautiful blessing. Life's such a beautiful blessing. Yeah. At times taken for granted. Yeah. Granted, the blessings in disguise, and I can see it. Just wipe the veil from your eyes. The lies that you've been told, bred to hate one another. You should take away and tear down that hate. Make it great enough to breathe your goodness inside of you. Love your brother, your mother, sister, just like they were the same birth next to you. I know we die alone, but we can stand together, and we can spread our wings and fly together. We can all work it out. We can stand and learn some lessons from each other. All we gotta do is open up our eyes, and we can see the brighter, bigger picture that's standing right in front of us. Love's the ultimate blessing, and life is such a wonderful thing to experience. I know, granted, there are ones who never get to experience it all off the top of the dome. I send a message home with you. Gotta love your brother and yourself. I know we all at war ourselves. Still, love can set us free. Such a blessing, take it for granted, take it for granted. Life, such a blessing, so often, take it for granted, it's all we have. You know, I think we gotta learn to look beyond ourselves, look beyond the pain, see the glory over the mountaintop. It's gonna take us all to get there. It's gonna take us all to get to that greatness. such a blessing. Take it for granted. Life, a beautiful blessing. Take it for granted. Granted, it's all we have. Appreciate that, Nico.
Beautiful day, and I wanna spend it with you. Such a beautiful day, ain't nothing that I'd rather do. Darling, what you're doing, the day is green and blue. Let's take a walk in the park. One that's made for two, only me and you. You know that special place I'd like to go. Whisper to a flower, sweet note. Now we're one with Mother Nature. Such a beautiful day, and I wanna spend it with you. Such a beautiful day, ain't nothing that I'd rather do. When the sun is rising, we walk in Oceanside and leaving our footprints in the sand. Anywhere together, I think it's perfect weather for trying something old school like holding hands underneath the sweet magnolia. Now we're one with Mother Nature. Such a beautiful day, and I wanna spend it with you. Yes, I do. Such a beautiful day, ain't nothing that I'd rather do. Such a beautiful day, and I wanna spend it with you. Yes, I do. Such a beautiful day, ain't nothing that I'd rather do. Wanna spend some time with you, my baby, and we can walk together. We can talk together like we used to do. Oh, baby, like we used to do. Oh, yeah. Listen now, in the park after dark. Oh, baby, stealing kisses from
Explore.
My damn breakfast, man. Welcome back to the show. How y'all doing? It's your brother, Slaughter, your big uncle, your homie, Trap Pastor, the machine, up in there getting it, like I'm supposed to. Those of you who kicking it with us, I appreciate it. We out here, man, just doing what we do. That Well, beneath me, the sounds of John Black, the soul of John Black. Much love to that brother. Copy his stuff. Man, that last interview was heavy, man. And so we're going to pivot. And welcome to the stage a couple of brothers who have decided to put foot to faith by doing what needs to be done to bring about change. Ladies and gentlemen, sisters and brothers, all the way from Culture Farms, welcome, please, Dale Pickens and Sammy Ryce. Yeah. Let me say that mic close enough to you.
Definite pleasure.
Yeah, you can sit back and chill and rap to me.
Okay, absolutely.
He gonna turn it up once he get a vibe for you. So what's good, gentlemen? How y'all doing?
Man, great, blessed to be here.
Good, yeah, it is a blessing to be alive, man. In these, as the preachers say, these last and evil days, Jesus.
That's right.
Yes,
It's been that for quite a long time.
It has. It's been the last.
Depending on your geographic location as to how you look at it.
Yeah, it's been the last and evil days for quite a long time. Damn. Yeah. Culture Farms.
Yes,
talk about it.
Culture Farms is
turn them up a little bit, Craig.
What we consider storefront ministry, where we are focused on making sure that our people have quality food. As you know, in most of our neighborhoods, we get subpar groceries in the stores, food that's infected with pesticides and poisons and things like that. So all natural agriculture is what we do. We use no pesticides or synthetic fertilizers, making sure that we give quality food, living food, to our people so that we can do less praying and better eating.
Yeah, that's necessary, no doubt about it. There is a movement, it appears, that is afoot as relates to black people paying attention to what we put in our bodies and people being actually concerned and having a clear understanding that you can eat your way into health or you can eat your way into dis-ease. That's
right.
And so the farming piece is really important. How long have y'all been doing that work, Sammy?
Well, we've been at the farm 3 years now actively, but we've been farming our whole lives. I know Dale has, I have. My family's originally from Trinidad and Tobago, so everything growing up, from chasing the chickens out the coop to get the eggs to picking the fresh vegetables in the morning, it was a part of life. After becoming an adult, of course, we all have our different dreams and things that we pursue. But then comes what God has originally put into you. I was in the entertainment business for a long time, and while knowing this brother, and I heard his testimony of what natural food and growing food did for him. And it made me naturally, some things are a natural attraction. His ministry in that aspect, it made me decide that that's where I needed to be at this point in time. Seeing how the food affects every single thing in a 1, 2, 3 step form. And even watching those who were, when I was sick and anyone got sick, my great grandmother would grab some ginger, some garlic, some barley leaf, something that would always bring you back to life. So to believe that I have to go to the pharmacy to come back to life after I've seen my whole life it was never needed, kind of convinces you. I don't know what Tylenol or Advil do for me or any of those types of things. So it would behoove me to become a part of a ministry that knew what it took for food to become your health and your wealth.
Ashay. I hear you, and I read you referring to what you do as ministry. Why? Tell me why you describe it as such.
Well, a little backstory. My grandfather was a farmer. Grew up in South Carolina, but in 2004, I went to a routine colonoscopy. I was 30 years old. Played basketball on Thursday. Friday went in for a colonoscopy. They woke me up to tell me I had colon cancer.
So it was not hereditary in my family. Took me by shock, but underwent treatment between 2004 and 2017, and I had 63 major surgeries. One surgery, it wasn't the cancer totally, a couple of malpractices that led to more problems and more situations. Went from 0 medication to over 9 medicines, and I was dying. They gave me, in 2007, they gave me less than 90 days to live. So went to a naturopathic doctor who did not, my surgeon and my medical team didn't want to hear what she had to say. But I had to make a conscious decision to change the way I eat to make sure that I was going to still be here. So, I'm here today. But that, and throughout that course of time, not only the 60-plus major surgeries, had over 20 outpatient procedures, 13 blood transfusions in 11 months. And I attest.
Damn, bro, you don't look like what you've been through, man.
Yeah. That's good.
Yeah.
So that encouraged me to not only look to sourcing my own food by way of farming, but also to look a little deeper into the pharmaceutical industry. And we worked to develop a nutraceutical company where we develop and create natural remedies or natural medicines. Our pharmacy is FARMACY. So we package those natural herbs and beneficial elements of the earth, which God had given us, to make it accessible to our people. That's why we consider it ministry, because what we do is, as it's blessed our lives, we look to do the same to other people by testimony. Like, we've been through this and know what it feels like. So it's a passion.
When you so where's your farm located?
We have a couple of locations. South Carolina is where we started. Then went out to Tucson, Arizona to test our methodology there to make sure that we could grow in desert in a third world country environment, as we were creating the systems to take farming to the next level, if you would. Recently, we had a 2-acre farm in Riverdale, there for about 3 years. Recently purchased about 100 acres down in Salem, Alabama. So we're going to continue to grow there and do more of a real serious commercial operation. So we've got a few outlets. Our model is more of a franchise model where we partner with churches so that we can bring our food to a grow facility locally and shorten the distance by which it travels. In the grocery store, all the produce there in the grocery store is about an average of 30 days old, which is dead. So we're eating fresh food, we think, but it's actually dead food.
Damn. So I had no idea. 30 days, the average produce at the grocery store. Now, when we finish with the show, I'm gonna take y'all back in the backyard and show you what we doing back there. Because I was when I walked out, I was like, okay, I'm having purple cabbage today. You know what I mean? And we got another at our facility that's right on the next block over. We got a herb and food forest down at the other spot with the figs, blueberries, blackberries,
urban garden,
all kind of stuff, man. And back there we growing broccoli and greens. Now, like right now, harvesting and eating right now from there.
Got to bring eating back.
Yeah, and it's so good, because it's just about seasonings. Right. That's all it's about. I mean, greens good for you. You season them and don't kill them, don't cook them to death after they already. I mean, because it's crazy. You say the food been there 30 days, then we'll get it. It's already dead, and then we'll recook it to death. You know what I mean?
We're human trash compactors.
Say what now?
We're human trash compactors.
Wow.
And if you look at over 95% of all disease comes from food.
Yeah.
Our chief medical officer, Dr. Kevin White, who's a Morehouse graduate, he talks to us a lot about the lifespan of the African-American man. How is, 50?
54. That's the life expectancy right now. Is the average black man does not live past 54.
Are you serious? You got your numbers right?
Brother, so serious.
5'4".
5'4".
But it's by design.
Well, I would not argue that at all. But I thought it was like 60 something.
65 is just retirement, so it's branded in our brain that's about where people may or may not die around. But 54 right now. And then when you look at the food, we're dead even earlier than that because ED is so high, erectile dysfunction. I tell a lot of women, I said, you're feeding your household to destruction.
Yeah.
You don't know he can't perform because of what you feed him, and the children cannot be controlled because of what you feed them.
Yeah.
So you have a decision to make on what you're going to feed them tonight.
Yeah. It's so, man, I interview a lot of people who deal with diet and among black people. And of course, diet is cultural. And in this culture, in American culture, which is death culture, from damn near every perspective, religion, education, politics, economics. I mean, it's all death culture. I mean, it's all directed toward the demise of the human, the control of the human until its demise. And one of the best way to control a human is to have it diseased. And so, yeah, it makes sense. But culturally, there's a way in which we are bought into, the subculture, the Afrocentric black subculture beneath this white supremacy, which is the controlling culture, the dominating culture. So much of the poison of the dominating culture has seeped into black people to the point where you can't get the cancer out without killing the people. I mean, without killing aspects of us. I mean, I even wonder, and this sounds crazy, I even wonder if we would. I even worry. I start sinking down, man. The natural thing is to scoop back. But I start thinking about, well, of course, we wouldn't have trap music if it were not for black suffering. But we would not have blues either. We would not have rock and roll. We would not have gospel if it were not for black suffering. So I wonder, what happens? What will we create? What kind of people could we become if we were to eliminate the suffering associated with white supremacy that we experience?
Well, to your point, farming was associated with slavery, which makes it uncool for us to grow our food.
Yeah.
So the convenience that they've sold us, which is a false narrative, has led us to buying their poison rather than growing our health.
Well, they do that, brother, and let's just be clear. That does not just happen to Africans in America. That is happening to Africans on the African continent. Everywhere. It is happening to Africans in South America. It happens to Africans in the Caribbean throughout the diaspora because white capitalism, white corporate structure, agricultural structure, and I'm sure I ain't telling you nothing that you don't know, but the guiding ideal for people who are non-white is monoculture, right? Go to the people, give them one crop that they're going to grow. That crop is to be grown in order to be immediately shipped to Europe for processing or to the U.S. for processing. The people don't have any hand in the processing. They merely get the raw material. They get paid the least amount of wages for the harvesting of the raw materials, and they are disallowed. Not just propaganda, not just convenience, but no, legally they are disallowed to grow their own food. In many spaces, like in South America, in Central America, people will be killed by those who run the corporations if they grow their own private garden. They're expected to eat that shit out of a can that gets sent to them.
It's crazy you say that. He and I talk about this all the time. I was in South America, in Guyana, last year, and we're building a community there. And I'm in the market, and I'm looking at the fruits, and I told the lady in the market at her cart that her apples weren't real, and she cussed me out. But then when I showed her the barcode on the apple and what it started with to Google it, when she realized I was telling the truth, she held her head. She screamed every spiritual name you could call out because she was in such shock that she's thinking she's selling fresh produce, not realizing she's selling GMO apples.
Wow.
She never knew it.
In South America, in Guyana.
They're taking the fruits and vegetables that are naturally grown there, exporting it to the small circle of the wealthy, and they're importing the massive GMO fruits from Mexico and other countries where the dirt is absolutely no good and the seed has been genetically modified.
Damn.
You know, and to this point about the dirt, we've lost 80% of the nutrients and our soil has been depleted.
Right.
So the same seed that you planted up, our grandparents planted, it's not going to produce the same food anymore. So they've systematically, as you mentioned, created a system of destruction.
Yeah.
And
a way to profit from it. And a way to profit from it.
And a way to get around what we found, that systematic curse of not being allowed to grow our food and barter with one another and things of that sort is to it's ministry, because of the separation of church and state. So that's why we, rather than going to partner with those who continue to put us in this position, we partner with our churches and try to spirit that education and teach, come in and do the actual work. We go from the suits and the boots to getting out there getting dirty. It's a passion, like I say. When you go through it yourself, when you can't get out of the bed and realize that you've been poisoned purposely because of food, it's like, man, that's sickening.
Yeah, it is. Let me tell you what I be wrestling with, and I think a lot of people wrestle with, and I'm just honest enough to say it. Man, there's so many damn ways to die.
Choose one.
It's
Choose one.
You
can pick your poison.
I'm like, okay, no more Briars Neapolitan, okay? Okay, no more chicken wings, no more, well, that's all I eat. Chicken wings and Neapolitan ice cream. You can tell by that's my new diet. But an occasional piece of cake. But I love the greens but I just think. I had a sister on yesterday, man. She might be looking now, Dr. Mumbi, and she was talking about this whole idea that we don't die. There's no such thing as death. And I'm sitting up thinking about all the people I know who did. And I'm trying to have this conversation, And then I have people on who say, you just have to stop eating meat. You must, you stop it. That is bad. Sister was on yesterday, no chicken. So you want me to just die on camera and shit.
Right now.
When I say it's cultural, I mean that it's psychological. It's the way it has to do with the way we make meaning out of what we experience daily, what we put in our bodies, what we've been taught. And think about it. When everything that you ever been told is a damn lie, when you finally get the truth sounds like a damn lie.
Unlearn to relearn.
Yeah.
You gotta unlearn to relearn.
Yeah, no doubt.
You get stuck in the moment because we also know people that have lost their mind trying to find truth.
That
And
is
we
true.
know some that have become settled because of finding that truth. But in the seeing of those that have gone mentally off, is where they have gone necessarily the wrong place, or is it just a reallocation of space?
And that's an excellent question, and it's kind of what you get into a deeper philosophical perspective of what I'm sharing in my countrified Arkansas way, But you just pick your poison, man. Am I gonna die from what I eat? Am I gonna die from beef in the street? Am I gonna die from consuming too much damn pornography? I mean, whatever. I'm gonna jack myself to death. I mean, what the hell?
No, you're absolutely right. But this is what I tell them though: as you make your decision on your poison, find out if it's quick or if it's slow.
Well, for the law, one thing, and I preached about this a couple of Sundays ago, or was it last Sunday? One of the things that we be fighting, that we wrestle with, that we grapple with as black people, that we hate to admit, is our fear. The fear that we have of white supremacy. The fear that we have of white folks. Think about it. You can't tell me that you hear this story about a brother riding down the street in a rental car with a white boy in the car who rented the car, and they together. And the black police come, shoot over the white boy and kill the brother. Now, how can you hear a story like that and not process that through your psychical mechanisms and not hold on to a piece of fear out of that? I mean, how do you tell me how to do that?
I'll be honest with you. Coming from where I am from Trinidad to here, experiencing the things that I've seen and heard from childhood, living in Chicago, living in all of these places where these things happen, I have to walk not necessarily in faith, but in knowing that I'll be all right. I always detached myself from hope a long time ago. And we know when we grow a certain food, our body can have a certain return to it. I know when I move in a certain way and manner that if and when it is my time, it's my time, because that's the part of having faith. That he has me until he no longer thinks I need to be had in that vessel. So it comes down to, what is your relationship with the knowing of yourself and your divine power within you? And the better you know that, is the less that fear can harvest you, because the stronger the fear, the less you're going to get done anyway.
No doubt.
And that's the thing about life.
And that could be an explanation for where we are presently. Again, ministry. Ministry means service.
Right.
And the work that you do related to Culture Farms is ministry. But you said you do other things as well. Like what?
Well, we started with food because everyone needs food to live. So as we embark upon affecting other areas of life, if we can, as you say, rid the body of disease first, then we have the capacity to do any other thing that we can. From real estate, finance, debt is another problem that plagues our people. Growing up black, if you would, we've been given a different set of books to read, a different set of information to partake in. So when it comes down to finance, to the way we live, the way we buy, the way we move, it's all a lie, as you mentioned. So we've put the hours into learning, to relearning, to get away from what we've been taught, and truly seeking truth, and how it relates to a better life here, not heaven. We want heaven on earth. The Bible says heaven came down, but we want to die and get somewhere else. But
yeah, sister said yesterday, we in heaven, like you in space. This planet is suspended in space. You're in heaven.
It doesn't get any more heavenly than that.
You know what I mean?
It's a state of being.
Yeah.
I think,
and it's got to do with perception. I think it has to, and we have to just admit that the different people have different perceptions, and the battles that we find ourselves fighting to share information with others, information that has been shared with us that we found to be helpful to us. It is often difficult to get others to espouse that which has been helpful to you, partially because maybe they might not be living your life, maybe they might be living theirs. You know what I mean? And what I'm starting to learn, and I think I get a chance to relearn it over and over, is that, you know, it's kind of like what Sammy said. You know, we're gonna live this life. We're gonna occupy these bodies that carry so much pain but so much potential. We're gonna be in them until we are no longer in them. Sometimes we can take part in that kind of decision making by some of the ways that we behave, but at the end of the day, no person knows the day or the hour when they will return to space, go into another realm. But it makes sense to attempt to improve one's own and those who are like you's quality of life as best you can while you're here. Right. And I guess that's the point of Culture Farms. Right. I mean,
you know, let me give you this scenario. And one of the things we share in similarity is our thought process. If we go out today to buy a $100,000 Benz, they're going to give us a 6 or 7 year note on it, correct?
Mm-hmm.
And you know, the payments are within range and we can pay for it typically. We see a lot of them riding around.
Mm.
Why can't we take that same $100,000 to go buy a house and pay it off in 6 years? It's the same money. It's the same $100,000. Why 30 years? So we continue to buy the lies of a 30-year mortgage and engagement unto death. $100,000 is $100,000.
Well, that's what mortgage means. Mortgage comes from mort.
Right,
which is something.
Engage.
It's a bill that sticks with you till you die.
Why not find a way to take that same $100,000 to go and buy that house, pay it off in 6 years? So, you know, we challenged the bank and went to the bank once and said, you know, we want to buy a car. So they approved us for a car. Like, well, we changed our mind. We're going to buy a house.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Can that money do that? Can we make that money? Can I buy your money to make it do that?
But we have enough money in our community to not even chase their money.
Mm-hmm.
We got to stop following the line. That's it.
Yeah.
At the end of the day.
We got to, again, as Bruce said, we got to unlearn what we've been taught so we can be retaught. And it starts here. Right. You know, it starts, and I say in my book, everything begins with religion. Religion is what people say God says about people. And as long as we believe what somebody else says God says about us, it's going to be impossible for us to come out of where we are. It begins with a rejection, in my view, of white Jesus. It begins with a rejection of Gentile and white and cracker interpretations of what people say God says. When we get straight on that, everything else will fall into place because that which is anchoring your psyche is freed up. Right. And that's what we
and that's the basic ministry is freeing the mind to look at life totally different and start moving differently.
Yeah.
Because once you erase the fear of who has control and realize who you are and whose you are, from there you can start moving in that manner and hopefully create an effect that mushrooms change the lives of more people.
Man, it's crazy, man. Yeah, I was just thinking, and we got to go, but I was just thinking about, you know, the protest during the wake of the murder of George Floyd and how people went out into the streets and let their voices be heard. Think about the reality that one person doing it by themselves gets beat down and locked up. Well, when thousands come together and do a thing at one time, you get to pass. Right. And that's what we got to do. We got to unify and walk this thing together. As long as they can separate us out, make us individuals, and make us perceive ourselves as individuals.
Well, we got to change it from congregations to movements. But effective. And it's putting foot to faith. So, you know, in our day-to-day life and everything that we go to do, we do it from that perspective. We can be the example that we talk about.
Yeah. Well, man, I'm looking forward to getting on the other side of the pandemic, the quarantine, and so people can try to figure out how to gather again, how to move again. Again, we saw in the middle of it, if people want to get up, get out and move, they can. But it's like an everyday thing. While we continue to spread truth each and every day, they continue to tell their lies each and every day, and people are continually in the struggle to decide who they're going to believe.
You know, you're absolutely correct. But at the end, the people have an obligation to pick up these law books, these these dictionaries, break down these legalese. We have an obligation to one another to understand the land that we're passing through from port to port. And until we take our time to understand the laws, because there's so many different law books, we have to read. People don't even know none of our courtrooms belong to the government. They're all private organizations, and they're just doing business.
Yeah.
So until we realize that we're just walking into an Office Depot, the courtroom is just walking into these other places, we're not really aware that there's nothing to be afraid of. It's just that you're there to do business.
Yeah. And
learn the codes.
Yeah, we would think that, and we would agree with that, unless they do anything to us, unless they didn't have a history of doing whatever they want to do to us and operating justice for themselves. But for us, they serve us with injustice.
It's crazy even in that aspect, because as you study, when you study your Bible, your law books, and your financing books, they're all the same. The problem is we've been separated by community to never realize that they are the exact same books. In '83, Ronald Reagan signed the Bible into law as the official law book of the United States. And since then, we haven't realized you can use this book that you may not look at from a white Jesus standpoint as an actual legal law book. Financing, court, housing, and from studying and researching, the IRS, all of them, the Federal Reserve, they when you learn how to maneuver amongst them, you have all freedoms you never thought you could ever have. That's why I tell people to this day, you still got to fight for your food. You still have to fight for proper freedom. You still got to fight for the ability to express. But we move around naively as if these have already been granted to us. If you are a warrior, you never stop swinging your sword or aiming your gun, because you never know the day that you have to go to war. So in every day we have to learn, study, and stop recycling our sermons and find new things to pass on, so it's new knowledge to attain. It's the only way we grow.
Yeah, no doubt about it. No doubt about it. Oh, invigorating conversation. I look forward to doing it again. In the not too distant future. Thank y'all for coming through. Ladies and gentlemen, sisters and brothers, put your hands together for Brother Dale and Brother Sam, me, of Culture Farms. Y'all hang tight. I'm getting ready to get up out of here. Blast off. All right. I appreciate y'all, man, for another day and another show. It was dope, and I appreciate my guests who came through. Thank the Smyrna family for coming through and sharing. That's got to be a lot, but I know it's got to be even worse to have to hold it and no one else know the story. So I'm glad that they came through and we can honor their narrative on today, as well as the brothers from Culture Farms. Thank y'all for coming through as well. All right, man. Tomorrow will be Black Reparations Wednesday. You know what I'm talking about. And looking forward to kicking it with you and chopping it up with guests on tomorrow. Also, yeah, that's it. I see y'all tomorrow. You know what I'm talking about. Oh, yeah, February 4th, grand opening of the Little Zion Annex of the Below Community Church. our day shelter program, our feeding program, and our resource accessing program. So y'all get at the people. Get at us. February 4th, grand opening. All right. Peace to the Archbishop and the Holy Family, to the beloved community I love so well, to my video engineer, Craig Miggity. I'm pointing at him now. To my crack research team, HC in the place to be. To my producer, C to the O to the Courtney Omega. Stop playing, you rascal. And to the man in the box, the Grand Imperial Slice Master Supreme on applause, hand claps, and other assorted interjections. None other than Big, not Lil. And look here, you, all I want you to do is love me, and I'm gonna love you black. Peace to the people, power to the people, and roof to the bros. I holler.
The mouths of the wise teach knowledge, but the lips of the fool talking foolishness. Almighty, me not like them hypocrites, me not like them parasites. Them scheme by day, them plot by night, striving on the plight of the poor and the sufferers. Oh, Jah know them are backstabbers, Jah know them are bloodsuckers. I can't take them vampires, 'cause I'm a free up fighter. I am a free up fighter. I am a free up fighter. I am a free up fighter. I'm fighting for what is right. No, nah, give up the fight. Fighting for truth and rights. Up full in a Jaja side. Fight, we have to fight, we have to fight. Fight, we have to fight with all we might. Fight, we have to fight, we have to fight. Fight, we keep out all them parasites. 'Cause I'm a free up fighter. I am a free up fighter. I am a free up fighter. I am a free up fighter. Them deceptive beasts, always scheming and deceiving, wheeling, dealing and misleading, stealing and concealing, playing with the people's feeling. Do they know the most guy watching them? Them better know I'm man watching them. 'Cause I'm a free up fighter. I am a free up fighter. I am a free up fighter. I am a free up fighter. 'Cause I'm a free up fighter. I am a free up fighter. I am a free up fighter. I am a free up fighter. is the lifeline, the substance of the beast. They have been shedding the blood of my people. They are sucking the blood of my people. Oh, it's the nature of the beast. Nature of the beast. Shedding the blood of my people. Sucking the blood of my people. Shedding the blood of my people. Sucking the blood of my people. The blood. Blood of my people. The blood. The blood. Blood of my people. The blood. They devise all kinds of weapons, then using them to kill my people. Some are famous, dangerous, and deadly weapons. ICBW, chemical and biological weapons, like hate and Ebola, weapons of genocide against my people. They're instigating strife and war among my people, setting up the climate for the blood to run. The blood have to run for the base to feast. Oh, it's the nature of the beast. Nature of the beast. Shedding the blood of my people. Oh, yo, sucking the blood of my people.
If it makes sense, we have to go and do it, you know.
Yeah, hear what I man say. Right now, but each and every day I say, oh people now, here I say, freedom, 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 freedom.
If it makes sense, we have to go and do it, you know.
Yeah, hear what I man say. Right now, but each and every day I say, oh people now, here I say, freedom, 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 Rasta people them freedom, African people freedom, the original people, they can't find your body, don't let them control your mind, so free up your mind, oh people now, who have been trapped by the demons of the beast, they are trying to destroy your mind and spirit, your heart and soul, your divine control, before they violate your body and destroy your world. They are waging all kind of warfare to distract and confuse your mind. Break them shackles, break them chains, don't let them control your brain. Break them shackles, break them chains, even though them change your name. Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up, free your mind. Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up, free your mind. If they control your mind, they can control your thoughts. If they control your thoughts, they can control your actions. Prompting you to take their baits that will instruction. Put yourself defeating self-destructive actions, doing exactly what they want. As you fall in their trap, say, appear manipulation. Them unleash, them demons and them beast, to rape, ravage and feast. So wake up, oh people, to reality. Wake up and free your mind. Wake up, oh people, to reality. Wake up and free your mind. Wake up, wake up, wake up and free your mind. Wake up, wake up, wake up and free your mind. They create a schooling shits in preparing your mind for manipulation with their lies and their propaganda. Desensitizing your minds for more lies and falsification. Through the medias and their institutions, we make up rules and more distractions, confusing and mixing up your mind. Do you know what are their plans? I say it's mind control. Them evil Babylonians, they wanna steal your soul. So wake up, oh people, to reality. Wake up and free your mind. Wake up, oh people, to reality. Wake up and free your mind. Wake up, wake up, wake up and free your mind. Wake up, wake up, wake up and free your mind.